Hello, I'm Simon, and I'm here to help international medical graduates who are working in the UK or who want to work in the UK to improve their communication skills so that they can have better social lives and better work lives. But the social side of it for new people moving to a new country can be quite difficult. And meeting new people and just practicing your English. At the weekend, I went to a pub in Bristol. It was my birthday on Saturday. And we went to this amazing pub called the Bag of Nails. And it's quite a famous pub. It's been on lots of social media in the last few weeks. It's got about 14 different cats that sort of patrol, I should say, patrol the pub, sleeping on the bar, sleeping on chairs, just walking around, sleeping on your lap, if you're lucky enough, if you like cats. And so it was very busy. And a lot of people like me, I suppose, had gone there because they'd seen it on Facebook. If you look it up on Facebook, the Bag of Nails, Bristol, you'll probably see a couple of videos about it. Anyway, I was there with a couple of my friends for my birthday, and there was nowhere to sit. So rather than stand and get in everyone's way, I went to a table that was sort of half empty, and I just said to the woman sitting there, "Excuse me, is anyone sitting here?" And there was enough space for, 2 or 3 people. And she went, "Oh, no, sit down. Yeah, sure." And automatically, straight away, she started asking me questions, what I was doing here. Had I seen it on Facebook, the pub on Facebook? And so we got talking about that and how busy it was, where she came from, where I came from. We ended up talking about what we do for jobs. And she introduced me to the young guy that was sitting with her. And he started talking about one of his hobbies. In fact, we ended up finding out that we both really like Star Wars. I don't know if you can see that up there, but that is a poster of Star Wars. And yeah, it was very nice. And then the rest of my friends came, and the lady and the young guy left. But I felt good. I hadn't been out for about a month before, since Christmas. So I was a bit worried about my social skills. Had I lost everything, would I be able to talk to people I didn't know? But actually, yeah, it felt great. Now, okay, English is my first language. If you're not a native English speaker and it's not your first language, it can be a little bit more daunting, can be a bit more worrying. Are you going to say something that upsets other people, or are you going to embarrass yourself? Well, I reckon in my life, I've had that situation, but you just have to go on with it. You have to go out and make mistakes. In my first teaching job, many years ago, I was teaching out in Slovakia, and in a very small town. It was called Velké Meda. It's near the Hungarian border, and I think there were about 10,000 people living there, and I was the only English person. And because it was such a small city, small town, there was only one pub. There were about 2 restaurants, which I'd been to, and tried having conversations with my very, very limited Hungarian, with the waiting staff, but hadn't really had much success. And I was thinking, oh crikey, is the only person that I'm going to be able to speak to my students. So I kept walking past this pub, and I suppose it took me about 2 weeks, actually. I kept walking past the pub, and there were lots of people hanging around outside, and I could hear them sort of saying, oh, Angol, talking about me, because I was like a big fish in a small pond, if you understand what I mean. And so I was a bit nervous that they were sort of talking about me and wondering who the hell I was. But I plucked up the courage. I took one of my students along. He said, look, you want to go into this pub? The pub was called the Big Man Pub, by the way. And it was owned by a big man called Robbie. And he looked quite sort of intimidating when I'd seen him sort of hanging around outside. But anyway, he took me in, and I said, okay, I'm going to practice a little bit of my Hungarian. And I ordered a couple of drinks from the barmaid. And then somebody else heard that obviously my Hungarian was pretty rubbish, and came over straight away and sort of spoke to me and said, oh, well, where are you from? You American? I said, no, I'm not American. Are you Australian? No, I'm not Australian. I come from England, from Bath, in the West Country. And he went, oh, Bath. And I said, have you heard of Bristol? And he said, yes, West. And we started talking. And as it happens, we ended up being really good mates. So my first tip is for people who are living in the UK and wondering why they haven't got a social life, is get someone, maybe someone that you work with. I'm not suggesting you take a patient out. You might lose your job for that. So ask a colleague to take you, maybe to a local cafe that they use, or a local bar. Pubs in the UK, if you don't have to drink beer in pubs, you can drink coffee. Most pubs do coffee, tea now. So if you don't drink alcohol, that's fine. You can have soft drinks, whatever you like. And because the dynamics of pubs are changing quite a bit, you'll find that the people that go out tend to be not so young. You don't get many students going out these days, not to pubs anyway. You will find them, but not as much. But you will find people who are like my age, a bit younger or even older, if that's possible. And they tend to be quite friendly anyway to strangers. So if you find yourself going into a pub and you order a drink at the bar, remember, most places in England you have to go to the bar to buy a drink. You don't sit down and wait for the waiter to come to you. Otherwise you'll never get served. So you get your drink, somebody will hear you and go, oh, I wonder where they're from. Are they tourists? Or are they, what are they doing? So you might find out that they come up to you and start talking to you anyway. So my first tip is get out there. Put that mobile phone away, your smartphone, and stop WhatsApping home. Just take the plunge. Get someone to come with you. Take the plunge and go to a pub or a cafe. Number 2 is don't be surprised when somebody starts talking to you. Number 3, if there's nowhere to sit, but you can see maybe 1 or 2 spaces on a table that's already full, ask, excuse me, is anybody sitting here? Or, excuse me, do you mind if I sit here? Don't do it without asking. then conversations will start. I guarantee it. Well, 9 times out of 10. Whoops. Hopefully you won't drop your mobile phone like I just did. Okay, that's a bit embarrassing. Anyway, I'll be back with more tips next time. Bye for now.